Association of with an alien or luciferian being, luciferian, or even a human with a with a canalizer, who knows, who can analyze all this material when you're reading. And that's the 50th session, the last one, I hope. This will be our last session together. I will do my very best to pack in as much as we can. I'm sorry for those who must have missed my earlier post from yesterday, which clearly stated that I already have more questions than I have time to answer, and that you have spent the time in writing our new ones. My time is so limited that I'm unable to respond to you. I have a long journey I must make shortly, and cannot be late for it. I have always been very confused and not clear on the subject of God. Had been tossed around from religion to religion from my parents. It's hard to discern which God to believe or have faith in. It doesn't matter because all religions are the same. It's come down, it's single down to a single being, rounds up to a single being. Should I keep on having faith in the fact that the world around me is God and that there is no one particular being that deserves this faith? Religion is either actually created or at the very least heavily influenced by us, the aliens. There is no such thing as God. God is a human concept, which is a misunderstanding of the original concept of creator. This is further confused and there are many microcosmic level creators or logos, or has been explained previously. God implies some separate entity which is outside of you, which you must supplicate to and worship. Yeah, like the idiots here. Our one infinite creator and almost all of our logos and sub-logos do not want your worship. Apparently hard to believe. Reality says the contrary. Wind doesn't do what they want. Volcano is rapid, there's flooding and other disasters. Or even pandemics like virus. They want you to understand the creation and your place within it as co-creator. Ultimately, there is a supreme being in the form of the one infinite creator, but we are all a part of it rather than its subjects. None of the names given for this supreme being by your religions are the true name, but they are indeed correct. And there is one supreme being named the infinite creator. They just have different concepts about it, which springs from the text their religion is based upon. Do not worship the infinite creator, but rather live in a state of thanksgiving and service to it for bringing you into being, and for this amazing game it has created, in which we may forget who we really are in order to remember and know ourselves once again as the creator. So basically the form that we have is actually just a body which bones and skin, so on and so forth. What matters our soul's being that's inside us that makes us question and deal with our surroundings in life. So when we die, the pain and suffering is just part of our human shell and has nothing to do with our soul or being, which will carry on the next life or destiny. Indeed, pain and suffering are just aspects of the game. They feel extremely real as we are playing the game, and indeed they have to, in order to make you believe that the game is real. No one really dies, but rather the matter of the human form is shed, much like the chrysalis of a caterpillar. When the butterfly emerges, look upon physical incarnation as the chrysalis in which you may transform. How about the afterlife? This is a game, the suffering is of the soul that decide. I feel as though I'm like shall be, but have lost my ways, or I'm just so confused and not in tune with my inner self that I cannot figure out what is my purpose in this game. Is there anything you can shed open this? Your purpose in the game is to walk open yourself, to grow, develop, and transform yourself into a more positive and loving being. You had certain goals that you planned to achieve before incarnating here, which is a main reason for the veil forgetfulness being in place. Because if you already knew what your goals were, the game will be too easy. Look at the things in your life that you most love to do. Ask yourself what makes you most happy. Experience these things as often as possible, as not always possible, as they will be related to some of the things you choose to put in your soul contract to do here. Also, look at the negative things that often seem to recur during your lifetime. It will be highly likely that these are also things that you choose to come here to work open. Let us say, for example, that you choose to come here to work upon patience during this incarnation. You will likely find that you have a tendency toward impatience, and that life will often bring many experiences to you in order to test your patience. The idea being that rather than losing your temper, you work upon your impatience and resolve to become a more temperate and patient soul. This same analogy may be applied to all manner of circumstances in which life will test you. Look for and begin to identify any recurring issues you have that you perhaps struggle to deal with and seem to present themselves to you time and time again. Perhaps anger, being abusive, selfishness, hatred, cynicism, and the list goes on. Wherever you find recurring circumstances, it's because you are being presented with the opportunity after opportunity to walk open these issues until you get it right and choose a way of behavior that's more positive. Once you have successfully identified these issues within your life, work it open them and use them as the tools of transformation that they are to improve the quality of your character. You will notice that these things seem to almost cease to appear in your life. You will still be presented with them at varying intervals to check that you have not forgotten that which you have learned, but there will be fewer and far between. We are not here to learn, only learn what we have forgotten. I hope this may give you some clues as to how to identify the things you came here to do and how to go about working open yourself. My life has been a troubled one for a while now, having been so soaked in and brainwashed into human life form and a way of life. But lately I feel as though I'm starting to wake up and see things more clearly, and I'm doomed because of the path I have taken for most of my life. Or can I still save my soul? You are not doomed, and your soul does not require salvation. No one's soul does. There is nothing to save it from. It is good to hear that you are awakening, and that's another reason why I'm here at this time, speaking with you. Our infinite Creator has many messages, and He uses us all in our own unique ways to help with the awakening and prepare as many as possible for the coming great harvest. But as I say, you are not doomed, and there's nothing to save you yourself from, except perhaps from ignorance. Stupidity, ignorance. That was the worst sin here in this planet. And I do not mean that in any insulting way, but rather ignorance as in a lack of understanding. At the very worst, you will have to repeat as many third density cycles as is necessary in order for you to learn the things you need to learn in order to progress and graduate to fourth density positive. But one thing is for sure, you will get there in the end. All will find their way home to our infinite Creator. Rest also assured that you will not find yourself lost in your cycling. At the end of each physical incarnation, as I previously stated, you return to time and space, or that which has been described as heaven, where you shall once again know yourself as you truly are, a unique and beautiful soul and a part of our Creator. You will forget who you are during incarnation. The object of the game is to wake up within the dream and then in fact become a lucid gamer, to remember who you really are during the game and to then beginning walking open the things you came here for. Rereading this topic with discernment will provide you with plenty of clues on how you may choose to go about this. Thank you for your time here, Taj, and I wish you the best. It has been a pleasure to speak with you and listen to your knowledge. We wish the same for you, brother, and ask that the infinite Creator blesses you and guide your path. See you when we get home. So it's the harvest in all or nothing event, or will it be a mixed harvest? A few moving to fourth density, a few move towards fourth density in service to self, the great majority repeating third density, and if you only 95% go to fourth density negative, then you have to repeat third density and try again for a 95% negative harvest. If so, then I would hate to imagine how much more negative your people would make the earth at that point. Okay, so I'm gonna repeat. So, is the harvest an all or nothing event, or will it be a mixed harvest? I guess a mixed one. A few move into fourth density, a few move towards fourth density in service to self, the great majority repeating this third density. And if you only 94% go to fourth density negative, then you have to repeat third density and try again for 95% negative harvest. If so, then I would hate to imagine how more negative your people would make the earth at that point. Now you understand why there's a lot of demons, a lot of upheaval in the world. There's a reason for that. They are working for themselves, to free themselves, to graduate. I'm still confused about your part in this. In order for you to move on the fourth level, it must be a 95% negative harvest. In other words, to reward your people fourth density, 95% of the human souls have to be in the self-contemplation process as far away from the infinite source as humanly possible. That just doesn't feel right to me. It does not feel right to you, as it's not right. You have not entirely grasped the concept. I shall attempt to clarify. The harvest is mixed. Those who are 51% or over on the positive path will graduate to fourth density positive. There you will work upon love and compassion, and it will be very beautiful world to reside within for you. There will be very little negativity, just a small enough amount that you can still use it to exercise your free will and choosing who you are not. But it will be so much more obvious than it is here. that the negativity is a tool to be used. You will see the interconnectedness of all things, and you will know that you are not separate from one another or from life itself. You will not use words much unless you choose to. Telepathy becomes the normal method of communication in this new world, this force density world. Everything is open and you cannot hide your thoughts from others. Ooh, that's tough test. From that incarnation onwards, you will not have to experience that density incarnation again unless you later choose to do so from higher densities, as you have done in order to perfect the art of service, or unless you somehow, in the first density world of abundant love and beauty, inextricably manage to be 95% negative at a time of a future harvest. That means you are in a much better, less controlling or less negative world, and then you decide to screw up, still not fit in, and then you want to be bad guy. Then the time of the harvest, you're going back, slide down. And then slide back down the snake instead of ascending up the ladder, to use another game metaphor. Back to this current great harvest. We do not require 95% negative harvest as you have deducted. Instead, what we require is for us to personally attain a 95% negative polarity for ourselves. I see. So the point for them is not that we be bad. They have to be bad and cause havoc here and upheaval and all kind of negative stuff. So they will upgrade, you see. So for us, there will also be a consequence, and for them as well. Not for you. We must be 95% negative at least, in order to graduate to force density negative and earn the opportunity to clear our karmic record of all the negativity we have created on this planet before return to our rightful place as the sixth density guardians of our galaxy and teachers of wisdom to those in lower densities that ask for our assistance. If we do not make it, we will remain trapped in the third density cycle with all those between 94% negative and 50% positive, what I termed luck worms, and have to continue to provide negative polarity for you. Harsh as it is, our only way out is to be as negative as possible. To graduate, we cannot choose to be positive, because that's not what we came here to do for you. That's why I often have referred to all the horrible things we've done here as our sacrifice. You say that the lukewarm people, which does not graduate, negligently go down the ladder at the time of the harvest, we do not notice anything has happened, but they'd be on a different planet. Do you mean that they do wake up with no memory of what has occurred, but still be in the same physical body? Of course, they will die first, go to another plane, then be sent there to these planets. Because if you have to upgrade to another kind of timeline, if we add upgrade to force density, some of us will have to move to another planet of that density. After die, of course not into the body, no, after die, would you wake up in a new physical body with no memory of any past life? There will be a short experience of 0 point time where you feel utterly at one with infinite creator. It will be a feeling of blissful, ecstatic expansiveness and unity. Reach your physical vehicles, bodies are dissolved back into light. See? Gonna die. And transported to a new environment, and then we go to a new environment. Reincarnation, of course, reincarnation. When that transition is complete, the 0 point time will end and will appear in your new game zone, planet X to be precise, which will be a replica of Earth. You look the same, think the same, feel the same. In fact, it will be just like you all had some mystical experience, and life will carry on as normal for you. Same houses, family situations, oh, that sucks. Jobs, friends, lovers, everything will seem the same as before. You will not remember the great harvest on earth changes that occurred as the planet Earth heals and regenerates herself. Oh my gosh. Sometimes I have the impression that it happened already, and we are still think that we are alive and that we haven't died. That it happened into 2012. Earth heals and regenerates herself. But you will recall a mystical experience that will give you hope and a new opportunity to choose a more positive future for yourselves. There will still be the same negative polarity to overcome, but if you are successful in a negative graduation, which shall be others are standing by to take our places, pulling the strings from behind the scenes, we have more than done our job. There will be the same negative polarity to overcome. But so be a thing to take our place, pull the string from behind the scene. More than done our job and discharge our service to you, and we are tired. It's time for us to clear our karmic record and return to being the being of light with our true essence. So they have to come here as demons to tempting people, to commit, create accidents, create all kind of upheaval in order to free themselves. You keep saying help is available to do searching for truth. All you have to do is ask, what is the best way to go about this? I have never had the ability to remember any of my dreams. Read back, I have given guidance on dream recall previously. It takes practice and slow process, but you have to start somewhere. Be patient with yourself. What specifically can I do to receive guidance on how to reach the state where it is easier to discern truth from untruth? Walk open yourself. Go inside. In a state of meditative contemplation, still your mind, that your soul may have a room in which to make a still small voice heard. Ask your infinite creator to help you and listen to your inner voice. Be patient. It takes time to develop this inner communication after a lifetime of neglect. When you persevere and keep working on yourself, gradually it will come to you. And when it does, you must learn to trust in your inner guidance, no matter what others may say. That's the ultimate test, to trust what you know deep inside as your truth, even when the whole world tells you that you are wrong. It is hard work to trust yourself when all those around you doubt and call you crazy. Yeah. but it's the job you came here to do. The only real and lasting truth is a self-realized one. Messages can come and go and show your truth until they are blue in the face, but it will not be your truth until you have realized it for yourself, deep within the core of your being, that it feels true for you. That's very, very true. It's how about you feel, you discern, and you discern information and not what people tell you. You have to find it for yourself eventually. You should never accept something as true just because someone tells you is so. But when your inner voice guides you that the truth is true, and you feel that old worn feeling of excitement welling up from somewhere deep within that says, yes, I knew it. Hold on to that feeling. Feelings are the language of your soul, and guard it carefully, as you can be sure that your newfound beliefs will be challenged in many ways. That's so very true. It happened to me. It's designed this way to test you. Your inner truth must be able to withstand the test of time, and will be given a true examination. Hold fast to it so long as it is what you know to be true deep within. Allow nothing or no one outside of you to pull you from your path, no matter how fiercely they contend with you. They are just doing their job, even if they may well not even be aware that this is what they are in fact doing. They are performing important service to you, and you should be grateful to them for that. We wish you well on your journey and ask Infinite Creator to protect and guide you. Open your path. Ask the truth. I do not have the time to go into your many questions, so I'll just select a few. I can answer briefly as I still have so many questions to get through. Do the Orion occultist group specifically target civilization before they become social memory complex? Yes, but that does not make them immune to targeting others too. If they allow any chinks to appear in their armor, in short, the Orion Empire afford the city negative, they are lost, and the sense that they have drifted so far from their true nature that despite many attempts we have been unable to reach them and help them to develop. They exist within the group so complex, mostly as a group of discarnate entities. Within the astral planes of the planets they visit, they have no intention of returning home and instead seek to feed off of negative energy to keep themselves going as they are disconnected from their inherent natural life force, but refuse to abide by the infinite Creator's incarnational principles. I don't know. Do the Orion occultist groups really target civilization before they become social memory complex? Yes, but that does not make them immune to targeting others too, if they allow any chinks to appear in their armor. In short, the Orion Empire afford density negative. They are lost in the sense that they have drifted so far from their true nature that despite many attempts we have been unable to reach them and help them to develop. They exist within the group soul complex, mostly as a group of discarnate entities within the astral planes of the planets they visit. They have no intention of returning home and instead seek to feed off of negative energy to keep themselves going as they are disconnected from the inherent natural life force, but refuse to abide by the infinite Creator's incarnational principles. The time we spend between lives and time-space is intended to restore our soul energy from within in order to continue our upward progression. They are essentially imprisoned within the fourth density negative cycle, as there is no negative harvest beyond the fourth density. So they spend their time traveling the galaxy, basically using the dark side of the fourth negativity to achieve their means. They will eventually be brought back before the one infinite creator and dissolved back into the intelligent infinity source of all, though they are being given every chance for as long as possible to learn the error of their ways and return to seeking the positive and to begin their journey back home. The main trouble is they do not want to go home. The main trouble is they do not want to go home. They see themselves as big gods and do not intend to submit to the authority of the One. I see. Why all the sudden ramping up of a control mechanism? The great harvest is fast approaching. Time to really bring on the polar extremes. The Montauk Project Fact of Fiction. The project is fact, though the publicly available information is somewhat corrupted. Best ways to decipher between truth and fiction, other than what we perceive to be truth, specifically when consider the New Age agenda and the dogmatic church ideologies. Follow your heart, listen to, and trust your inner voice. Please explain the wanderer's roles and what value is to be wanderer if you have no recollection of one's past lives. Also, how does this play with the law of no intervention, that's if they are here to help people? The wanderers or travelers, as they are also known, are those from higher densities who have chosen to incarnate here at this time in order to perfect service to others. They still have to remember who they are, and part of the concern is that sometimes even they do not manage to awaken in the game. Such is the power of the illusion. They are here to awaken themselves and then to help awaken others to prepare for the coming great harvest. Though even if they fail to awaken, they are not bound by the third density cycle, as they already mastered it. Once the incarnation is over, they are again free to return to the appropriate levels. I think I fall in this category. Are there any non-corrupted part of the Bible if what the Bible verse you suggest? No. As with all sacred texts, they have been distorted from the original information that was given with each translation. Though again, as with all sacred texts, there is still much truth hidden within them. Much of it being metaphorical, can find pre-King James versions. That's the closest you will get. Good luck with that. Once the Rothschild lineage, the organizer of the Illuminati, in which where she helped later formed. No, where she helped was just a puppet on a string. The Rothschild lineage, not its original name, were the preeminent line, closing the net of control over humanity. But even they are less aligned within the family. As I have said, the names you know do not have the real power. They are part of the family, but not in original part. They are just puppets or hybrids, as I said earlier. My question is this: what can I do to attract more like-minded individuals to come together to uplift my people's turn to the path of ascension. I've decided that this is what I can do to express my personal act of service to others. Fun that they talk about Orion, right, to be negative, but those are negative, so what? Very fun. It's because Lucifer does not like Orion because of the queen. And this one is Lucifer statement. And a very wise and compassionate decision to is. We are proud of you. The most important thing is not to force things and not to be so impatient in your delivery of your message that you put people off the content of the message itself. There is a balance that needs to be found between your urgency to awaken others and your compassion for the lack of understanding and their condition. Always adhere to the law of free will and never force your message. And get your message out there. It is to be informative. Always do your best not to feed the fear and paranoia, as this will act contrary to our intentions of raising the vibration to positive. Deliver a message in a way that emphasizes the hope and the true beauty and reality of our inherent oneness with our infinite Creator. Be as a light shining into the darkness. Do not burn others with your light, but rather allow them to be drawn to your light and be of service to those who come to you willingly. In other words, do not become evangelical with your message, but rather be the enigmatic and loving wise old sage to whom others are drawn to because of the quality of his vibration rather than the volume of his rhetoric. Most importantly, practice that which you preach. Yeah, that's the primal point, prerequisites. Others must be able to see the effect of our infinite Creator conducting his wonderful work through you. We wish you well in your task and I hope for a positive harvest for you. But above all things, keep working upon yourself and keep choosing the positive and being of service to others. Because your desire to, not because you feel that you must. We ask Infinite Creator to bless you and guide your path. Earth changes while I understand that death is not the end of my existence. I like my body and would like to get caught out in any earth changes if I can possibly help. If your family permits, please could you reveal which places are more likely to be relatively safe during the next 3-4 years? Would the South China, Canton, Hong Kong, or Patagonia be good bets? Any other place? My God, China and Asia is the most affected. Patagonia, okay, but China, no way. I'm not permitted to say much here, as there must be those who remain in their locations to help others who are not aware of what's coming. Many of you, whether you are aware or not, have chosen this lifetime for their reason. But if you are insistent, open escape, choose the highest place you can find, particularly in the southern hemisphere. But that's why they went there. A lot of them flocked there. The southern hemisphere is still okay, but especially so South America. The Peruvian Andes is a good place to be. Yeah, South America is one of the best. There's much spiritual power being exercised there, and the Keru elders are well aware of what's going down. Are John Leprechet correct in the assertion that the majority of planets in the solar system are inhabited? Most definitely, not all at the density level that you can see through. Is the Earth hollow? Hold on, let me just check. Yes, definitively. If so, how does one gain access? I'm not permitted to say. Could you elaborate further on the mechanism behind the fantastic positive results seen by people who embark on the service to others' path? I invite you to really deeply explain the intricacies of the energy play at work. You get out what you put in. It's true. I'd like to see the whole concept dissected and fully explored. If you read some of my recent posts, I believe I have now done so. I recently experienced healing of a mental health problem by sending love to all the sick people in the world. How does this work? Not why, how? Because there is only one of you here. Understand that at the deep core level of your being, and you understand how it works. As you do to others, so you do to yourself. You claim your family was put here to be a negative influence of the world. Their family, it is assessing a positive influence on us as well. It's up to us humanity to be that positive force. Interesting quest, there is such family or group more correctly, but you cannot see them, and neither are you aware of their existence. They help the planet from a secret inner location by the quality of the energy work they engage in and project outwardly to you from the source. Oh, that's marvelous. You must put here to be a negative influence of the world. It's their family to set positive influence on us as well. Group of more correct, but you cannot see them. They help the planet from a secret inner location. Could it be the Pleiades or Andromedas or Arcturians? Yes, up to you to be the changes you wish to see in yourself and the world. Your goals are negative harvest, yet you clearly are tooting the benefits of positive life. This seems antithetical to your goal. That's not so much a question as an observation, but if you could elaborate on that, I would appreciate it. Another very perceptive question, thank you. Our goal is a negative harvest for ourselves, not for you. We provide the catalyst of negativity for you, and it's up to you what you do with it. The drastic extent of the negativity we create, though, has more to do with us than it does with you. Some of my earlier replies should make clear why that is so. Also, in response to your observation regarding the antithetical nature of some of what I have shared here, there is a simple explanation. Let's put it this way: I have already been, shall we say, chastised for going well beyond my remit here. I was not intended that I be as open as I have been. In fact, if you follow the topic through again from the beginning, you may notice how my tone towards you collectively has softened somewhat during our discuss together. I have, as far as possible, adhered full to the laws of free will in confusion, although there has been instances where I have said more than I should have. You yourselves will not suffer for this. However, when it comes to my next cycle in positivity negative, and I'm working off my karmic record, I'll have to accept the consequences for my actions. I figure I've got a negative enough life to come as it is, so what's a little extra going to matter? Poor guy. I was reluctant to be the one tasked with this communication. I still very much have a weakness for compassion, but I obey and discharge the assignments given to me. It has been a very long time since I last spent any time in having direct dealing with your kind in general. I do not mean that in an offensive way, just that the vast majority of my time I only ever see family during my daily and night task. I do not live what you call a public life. I am sheltered and secluded. I did not anticipate how involved I would become in this process, to be honest. I really did not expect so many questions, such a warm and open-minded reception from the majority. You could say that I have in some way grown somewhat attached to you. In effect, this window of opportunity has just become such for me too. What began as me just doing my duty has become more a labor of love. And when this is all over by the end of this evening, I think I will actually kind of miss you all and have this involvement with those of the outside world. I was chosen because it was decided that someone of my diplomacy skills would be best to deliver this message. Going to the very nature of the subject matter, there was much potential for discord. It was felt important that the message did not become lost in a self-righteous or defensive delivery system. So you got me, and I'm actually glad now in retrospect that you did. I sit here and chuckle to myself in light of the way some people here have spoken to me. How this discourse may have descended into something ugly. Were certain others amongst my family who were also considered for this assignment to have actually been given the job. Now I know why I was chosen. As with all things, it was meant to be this way. I couldn't care less what others think of me, so long as I know I am serving my Creator as He desires, to the best of my ability. Is the only approval I require, desire. I have nothing to defend, so I guess that's why I was perfect for this task. Anyway, enough with the sentiment, I have more questions to answer. A common say among Christians is Satan's greatest trick is convincing the world that he didn't exist. I think there are Christians that would look at what you've written and Satan's elaborate rules to make the devil look good. Satan is a human invention, simply the personification you have given to all the negativity that has existed on this beautiful planet. You didn't know what to blame, and as you could not find it within yourselves to take any of the responsibility, Satan was created to absolve yourselves. Many of my friends and families are Christians, and they would likely think the same. How would one even go about presenting this information to a person of that mindset? I'm not here to spread your gospel, but I would definitely like to share this with a few of my friends. How can you present anything to ones who have no desire to have their belief system challenged? Yeah, that's true. They will believe what they want to believe, and nothing you or I can say is likely to make any difference. It becomes ingrained at a subconscious level, and when a belief structure becomes that insidious, the only way it's likely to change is through a mystical experience, even a personal demonstration of another way, and the life lived of another, that one cannot fail but to notice that there is something different about them. How can you reach such as this? Only by example. That being said, it's okay I condense your writings into one long post on my blog. I need to make sure that doesn't violate my user agreement here. I would also like to make sure that I won't get a visit from the man in black if I do so. That's amusing. Thank you for the chuckle. Yes, you are most welcome to collate this discuss for presentation elsewhere. The only thing I ask is that anyone choosing to do so respect my wishes and copies only the message itself. In other words, do not include all the pet size discussion. If you want to present this message to others, please honor our original intention, that the message is presented as a whole. When I said in my opening post that I required the provisional fate or suspended judgment. I made very clear why this was the case. I couldn't care less that people do not believe it. I never expected that men would, but what I desired in asking for the above was that the message was allowed to be presented in full, with all genuine questions replied to, and then once that process is complete, you can say whatever you like about how much of a hoax you may or may not believe it to be. If I may be crass for a brief moment, I couldn't give a flying fox how much vitriol and scorn is poured upon a message, or how many futile verbal attacks may be launched against its messenger. The message will reach all those it's meant to reach, and that's exactly the way it should be. It's what the Creator wants those with ears to hear, us to see, and a heart to understand will hear the message, and the seeds planted will grow strong and such fertile soil as this. So please, therefore, if you respect that which I have shared here, and the courteous man in which I have shared it, if you want to copy all my posts. My posts all quote within them the questions I respond to, so there are no other posts required for genuine repetition of the message that which you desire to take away with you. Thank you for your posts, some of the most interesting information I have ever read. I'm a bit of crackpot and scour the internet for conspiracies, alternative news, UFO videos and the like. I can't say I'm ready to completely buy what you are selling, but it has definitely resonated with me. You are welcome, and in turn, thank you for reading it with open mind. I would never ask or expect you to buy what I'm selling. If you notice, I have stated throughout the message that the very last thing I want is for it to be blindly believed or taken as gospel. As I've said, it is another long line of catalysts that the infinite Creator has provided you with down the course of history. A catalyst is not meant to be believed. It's meant to present you with a challenge to that which you think you know about reality, and that's all it is meant to do. As always, how you respond to the catalyst is entirely up to you, just the way it always should be. Thank you very much for your very incisive and perceptive questions. Whether you realize it or not, you have contributed greatly to this discourse. We wish you well and ask Infinite Creator to bless you and guide your path. Put out some incredibly well-written information, almost like the flow from his head being onto the thread. And that is possible the most perceptive realization and I've discussed so far. It also allows me to respond further to an earlier question that I indicated I would go into more depth later when reply to observation. This message does indeed flow from my being onto the page. I mentioned before my role in my family is that of the spiritual discipline. Certain posts are made of all manners of assumptions as to what that role entails and flared wide of the mark in the process. As I said previously, all of the power lines, upward bloodlines that comprise the inner sanctum or hidden hands of the family have certain abilities that tendency incarnate do not possess. Even the others of our family, the lines, one of these beings the ability to know their entire incarnational past with focused concentration. There are a wide array of tasks to be attended to that allows our family to function effectively, and if we specialize certain areas or disciplines in order that below me deal more in the area. I could be listened to that of a priest to a minister, and in the same way as your religion spiritual teachers have the responsibility of listening to the voice of their Creator and delivering His message to do. So too do I. So too do I. I have been actively engaged in this role now for a great many years. It has become second nature to me, actually more accurately. It has become first nature. A large part of me, my role is constantly be in the honest state of a group soul, Lucifer. That's why you'll notice that I so often refer to we even as I'm speaking in the first person. That's just become natural for me. I spend most of my time speaking with my family as Lucifer, the group social perspective. When I speak henceforth, it's not me, the individual soul spark that is speaking to you in essence, but rather for want of a better description because it's far from accurate. You could say that in effect I am channeling Lucifer. That's why this discourse flows so easily, and some have noted the chances of me having spent however much vast quantity of time researching all this material to hoax with and present it in the fluent method that I do as in regular daily installments, which I guess could be remotely possible, is unlikely in the extreme. But those who are open enough to receive the above explanation, now you know why and how it is done. I speak not for myself, but rather for him who sent me, my own creator Lucifer. I know and have experienced that which he knows and has experienced because essentially we are one and the same being. I have never been involved in organized religions per se, but I have always been spiritual. I do look at the main religious texts out there because I believe they all have parts to the story. One can find great knowledge from many different books of religion texts. I believe that we as humans are creators like the one creator. We are all one. I also believe we will be moved to a higher level of consciousness where we can consciously co-create in our world, since we are only unconsciously co-creating at the moment. Your insight serves you well. There is so much more I would like to speak with you about, but I'm not able to think of what exactly I want to say. Thanks for those great words that you speak to do so to us and appreciate what you are doing with love. Do not worry, friend. We feel your heart, and that does not need to be expressed via the confines of limited words. You can speak all you like, and we will be happy to do so when the game is over. Also, do you know Miriam Delicada just watched her interview on the Project Camelo? One of the tall blondes that she speaks of. She's a beautiful soul. I have not seen the interview of which you speak, but we know of her experiences. The tall blondes of which you speak are pleasure and heritage. They are working with what's known as the Galactic Confederation of Planets. They serve the positive vibration. Pleasurians are from the constellation we call the Pleiades. Actual name is the Pleasuries, hence Pleasurians. And no, we are Lucifer, nothing direct to do with the Pleasurians, though they are indeed good friends of ours. I have never seen a UFO in of this spiritual stuff myself. I just know in my heart that it is there for me to find. What can I do, if anything, to get myself on the correct frequency to see these things, have these experiences? Any and all information you provide will be greatly appreciated. Simply believe and know in your heart of the existing seed. Think about it. In all of this vast creation, can you really believe that you are alone? I will pre-warn you though, so as to avoid disappointment. You will only receive communication from them if that's something you have already agreed together in your soul contract before coming here. Many here at this time, millions, have a part to play in the Great Awakening in preparation for the Great Harvest. Men who do not believe now will begin to open their minds as the earth changes that are coming begin to take effect. People will be terrified and have no idea what's going on because the governments have concealed this information from you. These travelers, or what some have termed star seeds, are incarnated here to help on the ground level when this all begins to play out over the next few years. When the time is right, they will come forward. Most people are not ready to hear this information yet, but not so far off they will be. Many of these star seeds have not awakened yet themselves. The Confederation stands by ready to help them to do so if it's necessary. For ones such as these who have yet to awaken, they will have felt all their lives that they are somewhat different. That's me. That's me. Very different. Who have to be awakened. And they have a deep sense that somehow they do not belong here. Yeah. Many of them will also have many dreams. Yeah, that's me. And even visions of their lives on the home planets. Many of these star seeds are in fact pleasurean. That's why the tall blondes keep showing up to help their family awaken to their assignments here. I just saw a blonde, but not tall, but she was blonde in a bronze tent, and then wear those spacesuit, metallic one, but look like an android. She wouldn't look at me at their eyes directly, and she kind of came in the early morning about 4:30. Many of these star seeds have not awakened yet themselves. The Confederation stands by ready to help them to do so if it's necessary. For ones such as these who have yet to awaken, they will have felt all their lives that they are somehow different, and then people, either they keep away from people keep away from them. They end up alone every time, and they have a deep sense that somehow they do not belong here. Many of them will also have many dreams and even vision. That's me, a lot of dreams and vision. And then we feel that we don't fit in of their lives in their homes planets. Many of these star seeds are in fact pleasurean. That's why the tall blondes keep showing up to help the family awaken to their assignments here. I'm another of the many grateful forum members who appreciated the love message given by Hidden Hand. I wish I had discovered this thread before today. It's given me much comfort. I was running out of strength, but now feel as though I might just be able to manage now. My gratitude is internal. From this little spark to that one. Thanks for the light, mate. You are very welcome. We are glad to have been of service. You actually feel very familiar to me. If for the reasons I'm feeling this to be the case, consider this message to you, our part in our soul agreement fulfilled. Take the and see this message into your meditations, and those seek information from your dream time. Test these words deeply and take them to your heart only if they feel right and truthful to you. If they do, then act upon them and allow nothing or no one to deter you. Arise and play the part that you've all wanted to be here for right now. It's almost time. Prepare yourself and be sure that you are ready. We leave you with our strongest encouragement and the love and light of our infinite Creator. He could be what he says he is, I think, but he could be as well read but body person want to see how far his hoax will be spread on the internet. The thing I do find that if it is the later, it doesn't fit the profile. I mean, if you read up on the stuff, he obviously is interested in the harder interest in it is harder to wantonly hoax it goes against the things he loves to read about, and I find it very hard to believe that he's researching this on the fly, and I put all this work in something he will never get any more fame than this week of attention, no money or real life recognition, whatever more. I was not going to respond to any more message other than those who genuinely want to hear what we have to say. Due to my past experience, time here is expired. Though your point was poignant enough to briefly address, even if you own that the currency of a statement deserves to have a place in the final collated version of this message, a lot of work and pointless time wasted were it for the fact that this labor of love is all done for the glory of our Creator. The lives and humans about us being and even certainty being have gone unanswered for far too long. It was time to set the record straight. Lucifer has sacrificed so much because we love you. As spiritually is your focus, could you comment on the role of the Catholic Church in terms of your role, and how the Church fits in either the positive, negative, or miscellaneous part? Catholic Church is a female deity from ancient Egypt, Catholic, cat, feline, Bastet. The lower part of our family, the names you know, use the Vatican for my rituals and sacrifices. That should tell you all you need to know. Any specific holy books or perhaps Bible authors you listed has come very close to the truth. I think this deity is a female, and she is Bastet or Isis. The closest biblical authors are those who have been left out, the publicized edition. The closest spiritual writers other than the raw material to contain truth about the nature of the one are the Taoist writing that of the Tao Te Ching and the book of Chuang Tzu. Yeah, I never read all the Sumerian people, deities, whatever. Greetings, Hidden Hand. I consider this unique opportunity. I have not read this fully thread, but I have some detailed questions. So I apologize, something has already been answered. I want to make sure I get my question out before your time expires. I think this is Nanajita, or is Ningma. Almost all of your questions have been addressed, and those few which have not. I'm sorry that either I'm not permitted to speak on, or that due to the tiny amount of time I have left now, I cannot address. My apologies. I hope you'll answer my following question. What a man, so obnoxious. You may be aware of me, as I also cannot reveal all that I know. My question is of the different nature which I cannot get answers to. My bloodline is of the elite. I think I is lying. As to say, I guess that this means this Arabic bloodline, or yeah, I can feel him as an Indian from India, or Arabic. He's lying. Say Austrian Count, English, Scottish Baron. It seems at some point in the last 100 years, one part of the family lost everything taken from the government. There's a lot I wish to say but do not wish to tell for all to see. Are you aware of this happening? What really happened? The English side will not say. Generations of family lived there. Then taken by the government, something happened. All in my family, including myself, had extensive abilities, myself seeming to have the most. I am also aware of all you have spoken of on here. I would if you have permission to do so, and I know this would be allowed to do into this lineage. Or he is the most, it could be a Russian, like to talk to you on personal level. Ask who you have to ask. You will see I'm truthful and genuine. Please do not see me as arrogant, but that's the only question I do not know. Obviously you understand that this line you speak of are only the earthly lines, and the we of world power lines do not often intervene in such interfamily circumstances. All I'm permitted to say is that there was a dispute between the Habsburg and Franco-Prussian lines. Yeah, this guy is Russian. Things were said and done that should not have been. Consequences arose and actions were taken. As for communication on a personal level, I'm sorry it's not possible. I hope that within the limit of that which I can say, you have the insight to connect the dots. We wish you well in your task here and would like to see you in the near future. If you are going to mount in winter time, no need to reply, as I will have taken my leave by then. Shall deal with this next to post together. He is reptilian, that's the rest of the bloodline. They control just about everything behind the scenes. And remember, there is no such thing as a bad race, just selecting individual group to stand out more than others. Okay, so I have another question for Hidden Hand. Reptilians are described as being very aggressive, arrogant, and perceive humans to be nothing more than cattle. So what if the split personalities? You are saying you are loving spiritual, and yet everyone says reptilians are fearsome beings. There are Musias. We are most certainly not reptilians, and there is nothing remotely reptilian about the true power bloodlines. The only reptilian influences that are in a way remotely involved with this planet at this time are those of the Zeta Reticuli and Alpha Draconis system. Oh, they are of no particular threat to you. I don't think so. They work the government, she's lying. For those to whom it may be of some interest, we are of Venusian heritage originally. What is another name that Venus is called by? Connect the dots. Well, that's all the questions I promised to answer out of the way. My time here is now pretty much expired. I have another few minutes before I must finish preparing for my long journey. There was 2 later posts that I will just barely have time to offer passing answer to. I clearly know and I'm aware about this game, but I have a question to you. Do your 3D families have a fraction? Do they know this, all of them? Because they have tried to kill me and it will not work, of course. See, mess with them again. Channel them. All I can say on this is that even the earthly line of our extended family only know as much as you tell them. Certain information they may not use wisely or with proper regard to our Creator and our one infinite Creator. As I have said before, the top of the pyramid is not the top of the pyramid. Above the highest earthly line of spies of the Supreme World Council, in another high aspect that cannot be named, are the hidden hands Not the real name, of course, but what we have sometimes be referred to. Yes, however, the things, thoughts, ideas he speak of already, the piece of copyrighted material have been published in the book format. This the book deals with the very idea of the OP. Negative and positive polarization, degrees of density, even the same exact same social memory complex harvested that the same context, evolution between densities, logs and sublogs are that be in the same context, the same concept of wonders, the concept of infinity, becoming aware of itself, same idea of vibration, same context, the concept of the same ideas. Even Lucifer had to step in to help me. That was a surprise, as you can understand. Does your left hand don't know what the right hand teach? Or is it a lack of understanding certain member in your bloodline? Indeed, I understand occasionally drastic intervention is required. As I said, they do not know everything. Some things are best kept to ourselves. Temptation can prove too great. If certain power lay in the hands of those whose heart is not utterly pure of intention. Let us just say that some seem to enjoy the game a little too much from time to time. Their actions were more from ignorance than malicious intent toward you. Please forgive them as they knew not what they were doing, but thought it is the right thing. Okay, I just finished reading the last few pages of question. I stated now on a few occasions that I have no time left to answer, but I was asked the earlier question that I said I'd finish with naming that of if there was a question you have not yet been asked yet. Would you consider that it's being asked or word to that effect? So there's one other question from the last page that you will use in that vein. This will really have to be it though. I'm truly sorry I cannot reply to the many other heartfelt responses that sadly must remain unanswered. We must be leaving for important texts in Rome, and I already have others here with me imploring me, will you please just shut down that flipping computer and get your things together? They are laughing at how involved I have become in this task of mine. My father is teasing me that I should begin at the early 60 density again to balance my compassion. Anyways, I must finish. This has been very informative and has cleared up much for me. Thanks once again, Hidden Hand. My take on this is much different even from what it has last time I posted the train, so I propose a question. I'm curious on how the bloodline family structures work. You say there are people who are part of our extended family that we may know of. So are these the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bush, House of Windsor, etc., typically known in conspiracy circles in the New World Order. How close is your interaction with your extended family? And are they as spiritually enlightened as you seem to be? Can you just kind of give us an outline of how the family is structured? How much each level knows and relation to top, etc. Okay, and this will have to be a real brief overview as my time is up. Started at the bottom level, you have what we call local self-groups or family clusters. There will be anything from say 5 to 30 or so of this, depending upon the size of the town or city in question. Each local area has its own council comprised of local leaders representing the 6 disciplines of learning. There is also either high priest or high priestess of the order, serves the local community. Above this you have the regional council, with the lead of each local council representing the specific area, then the national council The same vein with the leader of regional council sit to represent their regions. Then you have the Supreme World Council. Above them all, the national leader represents their countries. Above this is another group I cannot mention, who is liaisons with the hidden hands. Then above this there are many other levels of leadership, purely from the power line, the ones that are not of this planet. The Supreme World Council, only known as much as it is handed down to them from us. Or the SWC. In our power line, we have a similar structure. The local regional groups, though most of us live entirely different types of communities than you would understand. All I shall say is that we are not surface dwellers. Also, do people ever try to leave the family? I ask you to comment on this of the family. I'm aware of her, yes, I've not looked at her supposed revelations personally, though heard and now from others in my family. Yes, she was part of the family at the lower levels from the German lines, I believe. As I understand, she did reveal a lot of the truth about the lower levels, but she was only regional level in the earth line, so not that high. She certainly would not have had anything like the bigger picture. I understand that she went into detail about some of the training techniques in the lower levels, which, to be fair, can be extremely harsh, though, as I will say, is all about reaching the 95% negativity. And when all is said, and each incarnating soul has already chosen dawn, no matter how much one may have suffered in this life experience, we can never lose sight of the fact that this is a game we are all playing here together, and each incarnating soul has already chosen and agreed and departed the path. I don't think that you have agreed, and how come they say regardless of how much people have suffered? I mean, why they don't do this upon themselves? Why they don't suffer? Surely for them who is not empathic, they will not suffer the suffering of the pain of others. It's just like rubbing chilies on someone's rear back or on the eyes. It's not them who are suffering the pain, it's someone else. So that's why they are not caring at all. You see, they are kind of apathic. They do not care about other people suffering. That's why they do this. Whether it's a game or not, the point is, if the other beings feel pain, don't do unto others as the one for yourself. Simple as that. Don't do. Stop it. Stop this game. Stop. Game over. Game over. No one really suffers except in the game, and ultimately they have chosen this experience beforehand. The soul level, no one is forced to incarnate in the storyline they do not want to play and learn from. Luckily, the virus now is slowed down in Europe. I have pleaded to them to stop, and I hope that eventually they will stop all the virus spreading. Stop that. Stop. By this week, I hope that they will stop. Now, Europe is easing a bit. In Italy may have had a surface, I don't know. But the rest of Europe is easing down a bit. And I hope that soon goes to the Americas, all American continent, and Asia, and then everything comes to normal. I hope by the end of this week, everything comes to normal. They need to stop that. No one really suffers. Oh, it's not you, is it? Let me pitch your whatever your genital part, you see whether pain or not. No one really suffers except in the game, and ultimately they have chosen this experience. I don't experience. I did not agree to it. Many people did not agree. It's not true. No one is supposed to incarnate in the storyline. They do not want to play and learn. We don't have to learn. We have to remember. Okay? We come here to remember. To be reminded of it, not to learn. Learn does mean we never knew at all, but we knew. It was possibly being stricken of memories. We have been possibly taken away our memory and of the essence and the reality of who you really are. That's why you make mistake here. Okay, so we are not here to learn, but we are here to remember. The German house is renowned for being particularly harsh and severe in its training. So much of what she shares maybe have happened. Though my family have also said that unless her trainers were acting out of protocol, abusing their power, much of what she revealed would not have happened or had been embellished to some degree. For whatever reason, I cannot comment myself, as I've had neither the time or inclination to examine her story. The word of my own family is very different from that of the lower S-based bloodlines. Rich our own training growing up was very strict and disciplined. We were never built in any way. We grew up the bigger picture and didn't need any other motivation. The SC lines are not aware of the entire picture. They themselves are not of our Lucifer group soul. And as far as they are aware, they are out to rule the world, to control and enslave and create as much suffering and negativity as it is humanly possible. Earlier on you said that you are here to do just that. Now we shift the blame to this government and military. And then you deny your relationship with them. Now, that's a lie. I'm so sorry. She's covered up many things. I think she's told not to tell the truth. That's what they get out with the D, word domination, liar, you too. You have to say with that in mind. They are doing a great job, but one of the things they don't know or understand is that our Venusian power lines agenda is ultimately for the highest good of all concerned in providing you with the catalyst. If they were aware of this truth, there is a slight risk that they would not have done their jobs properly, and they would miss out on joint eyes and on 95% negative harvest. They are aware of the harvest and the need for them to attain the 95% to get out of the third density, and that's all the motivation they need to help us achieve our ultimate aim. So that's meanwhile that they are with you in this game, right? Of the population, all this kind of nonsense. And also she claimed to be from it claims to be from Venus, what Venusian. However, Lucifer is not from Venus. They just explore, reptilian explore, must explore it all, but they are not from Venusian. And regardless whether they are or not from this place, they are reptilian nevertheless. Because the place of Lucifer, his original place of his family, Adonakis, is from Satan. See, Satan or Alpha Draconis. Zeta Reticuli have their own planet system. And a Zeta Reticuli is not a reptilian. You see their lies? Zeta Zetas reticuli are not reptilian. They may work for the reptilian. Some of them are not even organic. They are kind of EI. How they go about is not really too great a concern to us as long as they are getting jobs. Don't sometimes have to step in by something they may do or plan goes against our desires. See, they are with them and how this is minions feel to see their bosses treat them this way and betraying them. But circumstances are few and far between. And with that, I absolutely have finished my time here with you. If I leave it any longer, I'm going to be late for my journey. And I will not be very popular if I make my family late. It's a strange feeling I have now in my heart. As I write these last few lines, I never could have imagined I would have connected with you all in this way through this discourse. It was never the original intention, just to put out the information required of me. But somewhere along this journey we have taken together, I have come to feel a certain bond with you, fall in love. Of course, I know that bond is our inherent unity in our one infinite creator, though, to have kind of met and connect personally. So many of you has left me feeling somewhat saddened that our time has to come to end. But come to an end it must. I thank you sincerely for your gracious hospitality and for allowing us to use your space here for the furthering of our message. And remember, no matter the ideologies that may separate us in this game, the message is all that matters. And the message is that in the love and the light of our infinite creator, we are all one, brothers and sisters of the light, blah blah blah. We wish you all the very best in what remains of your journeys here, and sincerely hope for you that you will lose the catalyst we have offered you to in some way help you to graduate for a glorious and positive great harvest. Yeah, me too. Me, on the other hand, I'm going to have to go and do some really negative things now to make up for all this positivity, kind of amusing in ironic way. Real negative things now, like create some disorder in a house, poltergeist, create one accident on the road, the railway, create problem in the family. That's what they do in an ironic way. I look forward to meet up with so many of you when the game is over. Enjoy reminiscing about this time and take in the part we have all played in the great game. We leave you all in the love and light. No sense of love and light. I don't listen. I want to act it up. I don't want to listen to words. We don't live by word. I live by example. And so, lucky for me, it's over. And this is the last part of this. Is it the last part? Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Okay.